All right, guys, how is everybody doing today? It's your friendly Cobra back for another Friday Bitcoin analysis. Today is the last day of January. It's January 31st, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. I was on Ken Bozak's podcast. Yes, that's right, the official crypto cult leader, Kenneth Bozak himself. Make sure that you check out the link in the description below for the full podcast. I know that it's kind of long. It was like 2 hours. I love Ken. Like, that guy's awesome. Total props to you, bro. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing that again. I could talk to him for hours. I'm actually going to edit it. I have a recorded copy. I'm going to edit it and condense it and then upload that onto our YouTube. But for now, the entire podcast is over on his channel. Let's go ahead and get into the charts right after a word from our sponsor. Want to get trading like I do on a trustworthy exchange that actually cares about what their customers' opinions and feedback is? Look no further. DueDEX is a new exchange that prides themselves in putting their users first. And they are very upfront about everything that they do. They are quoted in saying it's all about being fair to our customers and creating that level of playing field for our traders. Sign up below with the link in our description and you can get up to a $110 trading bonus with qualifying deposit. What are you waiting for? If you're watching all of our analysis videos and tutorials, isn't it time to put your own skills and knowledge to the test? All right, welcome back, everybody. So I want to take a look at lower time frames before I start with the higher time frames. I know I'm doing it backwards today. Thought I would go ahead and switch it up a little bit for you guys, right? So this is starting on a 15-minute chart. Looks like the point of control here is just under $9,500. And literally when I pulled this chart up today, I really thought that I was looking at one of my Forex charts. It turns out I'm not, but this is typical of foreign exchange movement. Is really nice, you know, defined price action like this. I was actually really happy to see this morning. It looks really good. And like I said, this is normally something that's typical of a Forex pairing or a stock or something like that. Just really nice, smooth price action, you know, clear defined trend here. We had a clear defined trend up. We had a clear defined trend down. You know, this was also a really nice looking channel upwards here to the upside until we finally broke that. I mean, these are really nice, smooth, awesome, easy trades here on these lower time frames. Right about this level is where our support is. Let's change that to yellow so you guys can see it. So this is pretty much our little interim small time frame support resistance zone. And then this is the bottom of that zone, right? So we've got a top zone, we've got a bottom of the zone, and this is kind of that area of support, right, that we're in right now. So I do think that we're going to use this for a little while. Maybe we might come up and tap prior resistance here again at, like, you know, the 93.25 area on the smaller time frames. But what do our indicators tell us, right? So our indicators tell us that we're getting higher lows on our, I believe this is my RSI indicator. So we're getting higher lows on the RSI. We're getting higher lows on our MACD. We're getting, this was actually a bullish divergence here that this indicator had detected. Look very closely. While our price is still coming down, we actually ended up getting bullish divergence on this indicator. So really awesome there, how different indicators can kind of tell you different things. But in general, yes, trend is up. Normally, if you're getting higher lows on your RSI and your MACD, and then you have a different indicator while the price is going down, that's telling you ahead of time, like, hey, we're coming to the end of a trend here. This probably would have been a good spot to start thinking about entering into a long. However, I want to wait for some more confirmation on these indicators before I do another scalp today, especially on these lower time frames, trying to cherry pick good positions here. So we're crossing below our zero line threshold into bearish territory here. It looks like we're coming in for a bullish cross on the MACD, but it's not confirmed yet. And our momentum indicator is also looks like it wants to come down more to the bearish side after we had this little pop here. So I'm going to be watching this very closely. For me right now, this is kind of a no trade zone. It looks like after our downwards momentum, we're just kind of having some consolidation here. So this is going to be a no trade zone. So moving up to our 1 hour time frame, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these. 1 hour time frame, again, those same indicators, still bearish, still bearish. This is definitely below the 50. This is still bearish, but we are getting higher lows here. So that's definitely something to watch. As you can tell, there was no divergence or anything on these indicators on the 1 hour time frame. So with that said, point of control is about the same, about 93.40-ish in there. And if we take a zoom out here on our 1 hour chart, you can see that we're only just testing this 113 resistance here from our entire trend. So you'll be able to see all of these fib lines as I zoom out further. But in the midterm, our smaller fib measurements start from here with our last move up. It's about the 236, so there's good fib confluence in here. This is definitely, as I pointed out on the smaller 15-minute time frame, definitely a good area of support, right? So not only is our price action telling us that, but our price action is also being confluent with our Fibonacci confluence, with our different measurements of these smaller waves. So that's a really good sign. This is definitely a strong area of support here. I think that if this breaks, then we're definitely going to be coming down further to the downside to be testing our lower points of control here down around 87, 8,800, which is right around our golden pocket. So I will be looking for that on our 4 hour chart. Go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour here. So we did on the 4 hour on these larger time frames, we were actually starting to see bearish divergence before this flipped over, right? So we were getting lower highs here while the price was still moving up. And that's probably what this wick was, but definitely on the 4 hour chart, a very telling wick. Very nice trend reversal indicator on this candle right here is very, very good. So there was definitely multiple signs coming in that this may be our local top for now, and that, you know, maybe here we're going to see some kind of correction. So if we take a look at our Ichimoku, grab this stuff off the screen here. And these fib levels, by the way, I'm going to clear these off the screen in just a second so it's not so cluttered. That's the entire move from 6,400 all the way up to our top at about almost 9,600. We almost made a close above 9,600. That's actually kind of what I was banking on. I was honestly going to re-long. If we closed above 9,600 and then we had bullish consolidation above support there, I was going to re-long that in hopes for our move up to 10K, but we couldn't quite make it there. On the other chart I'm going to switch to in just a second, I'm going to show you why. So you can see that our 113 resistance, it's actually perfect with our Tenkan-sen, right? So it literally lines up right on top of it. This wick was actually resistance here at this same zone. So this is a very, very important level right now for Bitcoin. I think that if we break this, we're definitely going to come down deeper and we're going to start correcting throughout this trend. And I would definitely expect to see levels again of at least, you know, first testing obviously our 50 EMA here, right? Like I said last time, definitely a test of our 50 EMA at about 9K. And then coming down, if we lost support at the Kijun-sen and the 236 level, which is also very important, around 8,800. If that broke, I don't even think that this 100 EMA would be very much support. Our next support level would probably most likely be down here around the 382 and the 200 EMA, which we have not tested at all since here back on the 5th of the month. So literally the first week of the month. It's been a whole month. We have not retested the 200 EMA yet. So that's indication of two things. That's indication of a very strong uptrend. That's also indication of when we do reach our top and we do finally reverse, and the market just is so overbought and so overvalued that it starts reversing and stuff, and people start piling on their short orders. This is definitely going to be an area to watch out for, and we're going to really need to hope that when we do correct hard, that this does hold support. If this doesn't, then we stand a chance of coming pretty deep, since this was a very, very large move in basically just 1 month. This is just 1 month, and you know, that's a really significant price action movement, right? I mean, all the way down here from 64.25 to 95.67. You know, that's a very significant increase in price. So there's not really too much else that I can discuss with you about the actual Ichimoku cloud. We're above our our Tenkan-sen, our Kijun-sen, we're above all of our moving averages. We're well above the cloud, and we're sitting right here at support on these higher time frames. On the daily chart, we're actually just coming back up into bullish territory on the MACD. This kind of looks to me like it's going to start consolidating. We're definitely getting bearish divergence here starting to form on the MACD on the daily time frame. We had a high here, we had a much higher high here in price, and now we're getting a lower high. It looks like this is probably going to top out, but I definitely want to wait and see what's going to happen for the rest of the day. But with this one candle here, it's not going to come back above this. So unless we do keep moving higher, then this will be some bearish divergence forming here on the daily chart for the MACD. Point of control on the higher time frame is right around here, which is actually about the top of the cloud, right about $8,600, so about the same level here. We did break above this, and if you notice on the daily chart, and this is what everyone's watching right now, I'm going to get into this in just a second. On the daily chart here, in terms of the Ichimoku and the moving averages, when we came up, we did retest on the daily chart, the 200 MA, which is indication of a very strong bullish uptrend, right? So the daily chart is normally what I'm using to base the majority of my trades with, and I'm just picking my trades on the smaller time frames to make sure I get good entries. We tested the 200 EMA on the daily chart as resistance. We came up, we found resistance up here, and then we used the 200 EMA as support and kept moving upwards. So this to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, this does look like this is the completion of a 5-wave scenario. Now, obviously that can be wrong. I'll get into the Elliott wave in just a moment, but on the daily chart, honestly, all is looking well. We're not even in overbought territory on the RSI. The MACD is crossing above. So the only thing that I am worried about is that it looks like, even on our momentum indicator here, it looks like we're starting to form some bearish divergence on the daily time frame. So I'm going to be watching this very, very closely, especially over the weekend when we tend to have a little less volume. And the reason why I think that we're not really pushing up too much higher immediately from here is the volume just kind of like, look at the levels that we're at right now. Look, see, as soon as we get up into these levels up here, the volume just really starts dying off. There isn't that much demand up here because we're starting to get really close to 10K. So I don't think that we're going to need some really serious volume to break and hold above 10K. We're definitely going to need a lot more retail investors to be coming into the market to helping prop that price up and help inflate the price of this, right? And if we want to keep going upwards. So this resistance zone, I had my major support and resistance zones drawn on this chart, and this is exactly where we're seeing it. I've had this box drawn forever, starting back here, and then I extended it again, and now I've extended it again, and I haven't changed where it is. I haven't changed the price zones for it at all. I've just kept moving it to the right, and it just keeps being the same area of resistance. You know, that's kind of something that's really good to identify when you're looking at price action stuff is notice those zones that are acting as support and resistance. Draw boxes there, you know, clutter up your chart, make a mess of it, make it a beautiful mess. But, you know, obviously make sure that it's relatively accurate. But again, you know, these lines and stuff like that, these boxes, you know, those do not have to be perfect. And now this was our wave 4. I'm counting this as just a 3-wave. This is a very easy to see 3-wave scenario that was in the channel here. We broke down, we found support here, and then we continued our way up after we broke out of this channel. Now, if you look closely, this channel line that I have drawn, we want to get really technical about it and make it perfect to the wicks here, which is what I normally do. I tend to draw my channel lines to the wicks. I know that some people will give me a lot of crap for that, but as long as you draw them either from the wicks or from the bodies, doesn't matter which one you do, just make sure that you do it all the time. Parallel channel here, right? We start coming down, we broke out of it. You know, this was like the top, and then we started forming this channel. So I drew the channel lines backwards just to see how this would kind of line up here. We got to close above the resistance, and then we got a really big doji here, and bam, and it started reversing. We got 3 black crows, and it started reversing. Now we have another doji here. I'm thinking that we're probably going to consolidate here for a while. My inclination with that, we would be or should be correcting from here. Obviously, that could definitely be wrong. This 5th wave could not be over yet. This could be an incorrect count, and we could be heading up to like 10.2 and then coming down really hard. So until I'm kind of neutral, right? I mean, we're just kind of sitting in this. This is a no trade zone for me. I'm not really trying to trade this. It looks like garbage. The RSI is slowly coming down, but the price movement is just kind of staying stagnant here in this resistance zone. We're below the 0 line on our MACD, and our momentum indicator is starting to come downwards as well. So this is definitely a no trade zone for me. I want to see the RSI come down more, especially if we're going to continue upwards first. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up and leave your comments down below about what you thought about the analysis video. I'll be back on Monday. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments what we can do better to make the analysis more interesting, or if there's certain things that you guys want to know about or certain kinds of analysis that you want me to use besides what I'm normally use for these charts, then go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Keep an eye out on Monday for the promotion that we're going to be doing for Valentine's Day week. Definitely some really good opportunities to get into our Discord there and enjoy some signals and stuff for a week and see what we do in the group and meet all of our chartists and all of that stuff. So go ahead, check that out. Until next time, happy trading.